This is Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm here for your weekly card class from Maine. It's Monday again. Isn't it funny how it's like Monday every week? And I have 3 fantastic cards to share with you, just like I do every Monday when you come and join me for a card class. And the best part is that you can get the card kits and create cards very similar to the ones that I'm making. Now I say very similar to the ones I'm making. You can create them at your house after I mail you your card kits with your qualifying order. If you use the same products I'm using, perhaps maybe you're using other products, you can definitely substitute in your own stamps, your own punches, your own dies. Use my kits as a starting point to get really creative. That's the best part about getting them in the mail, is that you have things that are cut and prepped, die cut. You've got some embossed pieces, you've got all kinds of things that maybe you don't own that you get to play with. And you get to follow along with me as well. If you are checking out my class, please say hi. I'd love to know who's watching. And also, hi Deb Jurek, I'm glad you're here today. Also, if you're watching replay, I'd love to know if you're watching replay. I pop these videos over on YouTube after I do my Facebook Live, so I appreciate all of my fans on YouTube checking out this great card class too. Now today we're using the Painted Lavender Bundle, but we're not quite going as purple as you might think, right? As soon as you think about Painted Lavender, I know you're all over the fact that Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape and all of those good colors, but check out, I'm going to just give you a sneak peek of my card bases. Do these look lavendery to you? Because this is what we're working with tonight. I'm going to show you how to take this bundle and do the non-purpley things with it. So you're going to have some really great creative ideas when you're done watching this class. So I'm really excited to bring it to you, just like I am every week. I'm always so excited. Now let me get over to my workspace. So we're going to talk about the bundle. We're going to talk about the coordinating bundle. And hi Barbara, good to see you. We're going to talk about how you can get these kits at home, and then we're going to do our card class. So we've got a lot to go on tonight, so please continue to say hi as you're jumping on. I just love to see everybody. So this is the Painted Lavender stamp set. This is red rubber. Nope, let me rephrase. This is not red rubber. This is photopolymer. The other one is red rubber. This is the photopolymer one. Surprise! And also you're going to see here that there's only 2 tiny little stamps that I do not have mounted up, which means we're using most of the stamps in the set tonight for our card class. Now these are all images, so there's not a single sentiment here, which I like because then it doesn't limit you to thinking I should use the sentiment with these stamps. You can use the Painted Lavender stamps with any sentiments, like, right? It goes with everything. Like that little black dress, it goes with everything. Now here are the coordinating dies. We're going to use a bunch of these tonight too. There are 2 of the exact same one right here, which are going to cut out these cute little flowers right here. So all of your images are going to be able to get die cut except for this grass background. Everything else has a coordinating die, and there's always bonus dies that are kind of giving you some sprig-like items, which we're going to be exploring today. So that's the Painted Lavender Bundle. Now, in the suite, in the Stampin' Up catalog, Perennial Postage is right next door, and you're going to notice that Perennial Postage is the cling set. This is where I was jumping ahead here. This is your cling set. I have out some sentiments here that we're going to use on our cards because this is all sentiments. Everything sentiments. Also, I'm a fan of sentiments, right? So you can't go wrong with either of these. Now the Perennial Postage goes is offered as a bundle with these dies right here, which look like stamps, right? Like they look like a postage stamp. So there's all kinds of rectangles, nesting items. You know how I love to nest, right? I love nested dies, and this Perennial Postage dies, they don't disappoint me at all. So you can get the suite, and you can get all kinds of, you can get the bundles, you can get this paper that looks like it's all purple and pretty, right? I'm actually going to reserve this paper for my February Card Maker Collective Club. You're getting a half a pack of this paper, the purple gems, some ribbon, all of that stuff is actually going to come in the February Card Maker Collective Club, and it's going to coordinate again with the Painted Lavender Bundle and the Perennial Postage Bundle. So it's going to tie in eventually, but today we are doing card kits that maybe aren't very purpley. In fact, I have Bubble Bath, I have Lemon Lolly, Gray Granite, Orchid Oasis. Now you could argue that this is purple, but to me, especially with the yellow, it looks a little bit more blue. And then I have over here, we've had a lot of white on this one. We do have Berry Burst, which to me is a pink, it's not a purple. And there is a tiny little bit in here, it's peeking out, Fresh Freesia. So there's a little bit of purple in here, but this is not the Highland Heather Gorgeous Grape Purple that you expect with the Painted Lavender Suite. So all of these parts and pieces, they come to you in your kits. You're getting some die cuts, you're getting some embossed pieces, lots and lots. Like I stuffed these babies full. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So those are our card kits that we're going to be using tonight as we get going. Now let's talk a little bit quickly about the offer. So as always, the class is free to watch. You can watch it, enjoy it, replicate it, have a lot of fun. But if you want the card kits at home, you're going to place a $40 order and you're going to get 6 card kits, 2 each of 3 designs. And that's it. They come to you. 6 card kits for $40. You're going to get the card kits and my free embellishment if you bump up to $50. Now right now Sale-A-Bration is still going on, so Sale-A-Bration is a great time to order $50, get the card kits, get the free embellishment. This week I'm giving you paper butterfly accents, a full pack. There are 8 pages with these little butterflies, so they're going to make their way onto our cards tonight. You'll get these butterfly accents as your free gift from me with your $50 order, and you get to pick out a Sale-A-Bration item. Put that in your cart. You get that right from Stampin' Up. I'm going to send you this embellishment and the card kits separately. The host code this week remains XDTU99RB, and it's good through Friday, February 9th to the end of the day. So let's talk a little bit about our first card, shall we? Because I know you guys are really excited. So we're going to start out with a little bit of bubble bath. I think there's always a good start when you pull in a little bit of pink. I see Lois, Patty, Michelle, Linda, and Jess. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate seeing you on here tonight. All right, so bubble bath, right? Not purple, although there is a tiny bit of purple. So the card kits come, again, you're getting 2 each of the designs. So you're going to have 2 card bases, 2 envelopes. They are scored, by the way. I score them when I mail them to you. So you're going to get them in the mail and they're already going to look like this and you're good to go, right? So, and then you get all of these parts and pieces, and I'm going to separate out mine now and put one together with you. Now you're getting the perennial postage die cuts because I'm really saying that my bundle this week is the Painted Lavender. So if I'm using perennial postage, you're actually getting some of these dies cut for you. And then you're also getting the deckled circles dies. You know I love to add a lot of stuff to my card kits. And then I am using this little sweet, it might be, it's actually missing. It's not on my my mat right here. So I pulled it out and left it separately, but this is like a little a postage stamp, right? So kind of like the cancellation postage, and there's actually a butterfly. It's probably really hard to see it. There's a tiny little butterfly image indented. It's not raised up, it's indented here. So that's going to come to you just like this. I'm going to show you how we're going to use that on our card. So let me just move some things aside here so we can get going. For our first card, we're using inks. We've got Old Olive, Fresh Freesia, and Bubble Bath. So these are the inks that we're going to be using. And I'm going to just make sure that, hi Lori, good to see you. Make sure that I can see I'm all in view here. And here's our very first card. So again, very pink, little bit of purple. I'm going to tease in a little bit of purple. I have to tease in a little bit of purple with lavender. But this is the card that we're going to be making first. So I already have my card base. And some of this stuff is going to be just really simple. So let's start with this cute little postage piece right here. You're going to see that I actually fussy cut out the image because I'm sending it to you on this little piece of Fresh Freesia. This is really easy to do. So you're just going to kind of cut around it and go around the circle, come around the other end, and anybody can do that. I know you guys can do this at home. This is not hard. Now there's not a die that cuts out the actual shape. The die that comes with this perennial postage gives you the indented, right? It doesn't give you the die cut around and about. So you just take your paper snips and you do your best, and you actually create this all on your own. So that was really simple, right? Super easy. Now the focal piece on here, the butterfly, is actually from this sheet. One of these sheets. We're going to use one sheet today. We're not even going to use all the butterflies in one sheet. And I used this butterfly right here. So they're just going to pop off there really easily. You can see that they're all white when you get them. You can sponge them, make them pretty. We're going to do some different things with them today. You could leave it white if you wanted to, for sure, right? So it's all up to you on what you like. But there is our little butterfly. So we didn't have to die cut that or anything. Isn't that fantastic? I love it. We're going to stamp on our white circle. We're going to stamp on our sentiment piece, and we're going to do a little tiny bit of stamping on this white piece. So let me get out all of these items right here, and we're going to do our stamping first. Let's do the purple butterflies. So there is the cutest little butterfly. It's like a little duo of butterflies. We're going to do this in Fresh Freesia. but we're going to stamp off. So I'm going to bring in my ink, and we're going to put them, it's really hard to see, I'm going to lift up the vellum here. I stamped them off right here on my card. So you can just see a little faint whisper of those little butterflies here. I didn't want it to be glaringly obvious. I'm going to stamp that off over there. And then I'm just going to put them, I think I put a couple of them in here. I'm going to see how many I can sneak in here again. And I'm just going to stamp off one more time over here. This time I'm going to, because they're connected, I'm going to just try to do the bigger butterfly on my paper. And if you do it on the edge, the little butterfly goes off. And then you've got that cute little spattering of butterflies there. When we put our vellum over here, it's going to soften that a little bit too. Now I stamped off on my glass mat, and I think when I made my card originally, I probably stamped off on paper. So stamping off on the glass mat, we're learning lessons, stamping off on the glass mat actually leaves a little bit more ink on your stamp than stamping on paper. So the paper is going to absorb more of the ink, and you're going to get a lighter image. That's a lot lighter than stamping off on the glass mat. So I'm just experimenting and playing. I'm having a really good time checking out this glass mat. And next we're going to do the circle stamping. So for here, we're going to start with Bubble Bath ink. And I'm going to use lots of flowers. This flower right here that kind of looks like a handmade bouquet, like right here. So this is the flower stamp that I've got. I've got this mounted up here on my clear block. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp it, and I'm going to stamp it kind of tall. So you're going to see here that it comes up, and I'm going to stamp one over here off to the side a little bit, and then one over here to the side. I don't care if I'm stamping over one another because it's okay. So it kind of looks really funny. Like this is not even near finished. When we're finished, we're going to be covering up some of it too, but it's going to look really cute when we're done. Old Olive is going to come in next. Now with the Old Olive, I am going to use this long skinny stem right here, this long skinny stem. This one didn't quite seem to fit the flower bouquet, so I'm using this one. At least that's how I felt. So I'm going to come in here with this one. Now again, I'm going to just kind of line up some of couple of the flowers to where it looks like it would naturally kind of come off of the stem itself. So for some of these on the other side, now I stamped them lower, so I'm just bringing my greens up a little bit. It's okay if they come up and in to the flowers. You don't have to worry about lining them up perfectly. This is like a really great beginner stamper because nothing has to be exactly perfect. So you're just kind of getting the idea that there are some greens in there. Now you can still see that I've got a lot of spots left over there, right? Where I don't have anything stamped just yet. I'm just gonna wipe this. I probably need to wipe down there's a little chamois that comes with this glass mat, and I don't think I have it stored somewhere where it's staying wet enough, so I don't use that as much. So I'm just coming up. I want Fresh Freesia back out. Fresh Freesia. Now we're gonna do Fresh Freesia with this. This might be my favorite stamp in the stamp set, to be honest with you. It's kind of grassy looking, so you could do this in green, but I love it in purple. So check out how magical it's going to be when we come in here with the purple. I'm going to come in just like this, and I'm going to do, again, right off onto the sides. And so look at how nicely that purple kind of comes up and fills in the spots. I just think that is so pretty, just like that. I absolutely adore that. While we have the Fresh Freesia out, we're going to do our sentiment. I might want to once again, so I'm using my glass mat pretty nicely today and cleaning it right up and moving right on. It dries quickly too, like it doesn't take long to dry. So I've got the sentiment, sending love and best wishes. So here it is right here. This is again red rubber, so it's harder to see exactly how it's going to line up. So we're just going to kind of go for it. And if it's a little bit crooked or sideways, this kind of lends to the whimsy of this card. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, obviously you want your sentiment to be in the space it belongs in, but other than that, it's okay. It's kind of like a whimsical type of card. All right, let me move these things aside. I think we have everything ready, and we're going to do our assembly now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my designer series paper. This piece is cut to the height of the A2 size card, so it is 5.5 tall. Now, if you get these kits at home and you want to play totally different, you can work this in. This is boho blue, and I think it looks really cute with bubble bath. But we're keeping this card very pink today. We're going to go pink. So as mentioned, this is as tall. Now you can kind of look at this and try to decide which pattern you want, up or down. The design of the flourish here. totally up to you. There is going to be, it's not fully across. This is 4 inches, not 4 1/4 for the designer series paper. So there's going to be a little bit of matting look here on either side. Of course, if you wanted to put it more to one side or the other, you certainly could as well, but that's going to line up just like that. Now, when we put this together, we're actually going to do a little kind of dry fitting first, because we always want to hide the vellum. Anything that we put with vellum, we want to kind of hide where the tape is going to show. So I'm going to just pop this onto my card real quick. And I've got this white layer behind it. And then I'm going to bring in this big pink deckled circle. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. What I'm trying to do really here is decide where my circle is going to be. And I'm going to lift this off and I'm going to lift this up. And I'm going to put my circle right about in here. So I know that any glue that I put right there is going to be hidden by my circle, so that when it's on my vellum and you can see right through the vellum, you can see where the adhesive is. Maybe not on camera, but I can certainly see where it is. This is the only place that I'm adhering the vellum down. So I'll be able to lift that up a little bit, just like I can on my finished card, but it's not going to go anywhere. The layers are going to help to hold everything together. So I'm going to bring in a few dimensionals, as we love to lift things up a little bit. We're going to flip this over and add a few onto the back of this white paper. And I'd love to know if you are loving the non-purple class tonight. Like maybe you're just tuning in now and you're like, where are all, this is the lavender set, where's all the purples? We're exploring some different options and just seeing what we can do besides purple. And I think you would agree that this is really lovely. I think it is. Love these colors together. They're so soft and pretty. Really nice this time of wintry year. Okay, so I've just put these two pieces together, and this is going to come on my card front just like this. You can see how cute that is. And we're just making sure that our butterflies are kind of just up here to the upper left so that we can see them a little bit. And I'm just going to adhere this down. Once again, this piece right here is covering up all of the adhesive from my vellum. So there's no adhesive showing wherever the vellum is. The vellum is a little bit bigger than the white paper, so you kind of get that idea that there's those cute little ridges there, right? Now my butterfly is a little bit naked right now. You can see that I have a white butterfly here, and here I took the fresh freesia and I blended in some purples. So you can play with this a little bit. Do you like the white butterfly? Maybe you like it white and you don't want to go purple with it. So this is kind of what it would look like if you didn't want to add any extra ink, but we will check it out. I think there's no shame ever in adding more purple to something, right? So we're going to come in here with a dauber. I have a dauber somewhere right here. Make sure you know which way you want your butterfly to go. These can go in either direction. They are two-sided. They're white on both sides is what I mean to say. So you can flip them one to the other. You could go this way, this way. So decide which one you like to be showing. And I'm just going to very gently take a little bit of the purple ink. Now, because there's some really detailed edging here on this butterfly, you don't want to go crazy. You know, you'll manipulate your these little cutouts will bend if you get a little bit, you know, a little bit rambunctious with it. But all that I need really is just that little bit of purple on there, and it just kind of brings that to life a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit here on some of the outer edges of this as well, just to give it a little bit more notification here that it is on the card and canceled properly. But I am leaving my sentiment unsponged. So there we go. We are going to finish this card up. Now I glued this little butterfly down just by coming onto the back side of it and picking some spots that had just a little bit of bigger area. And I'm not even going to glue that much of it because some of my butterfly is going to be off the circle. So I'm really only adding a little bit. Now, if you feel like you've over glued your butterfly, just go ahead and grab, this is just a scrap, right? So just go ahead and tap off some of that excess glue onto a scrap, and then it's not going to be goopy and it won't come all the way through all these little holes, and you'll just be a little bit happier than that. Gooping out for you. And then we're just going to put it on here. Just make sure that your butterfly doesn't come off the edge of your card or it won't fit in your envelope. So there's our sweet little butterfly, and we're going to glue down our sentiment here. This is just going to come on here just like this, kind of in the corner, wherever you like. Now, if you feel like you wanted a little dimensional underneath there, you could put one on there if you wanted to. Don't feel like it quite needs it. And then we're going to glue this down flat too. Now keep in mind, again, as you're looking at this, there is a butterfly shape. So you want to make sure you don't put it on upside down. Then you can't really tell that it's a butterfly shape. And I'm just popping it over here off to the side. You can kind of play with it a little bit. Make sure you don't cover up your sentiment. And I'm going to bring in some bling, and I don't know where my bling is right now, so I might not bring in some bling. Let me see. Looking around in my basket. Hold, please. Oh wait, I found it. Okay, we're good. So I'm just using some rhinestones. Now, the rhinestones here are not being sent in your card kits as your free gift. Your free gift, again, is the butterflies. But I felt like it needed a little something, right? It needed a little bling on it. So I grabbed 3 of these tiniest little rhinestones. I'm going to use my take your pick tool and pick them up here. Kind of pop them on over here on the butterfly a little bit. 1, 2, 3. I went really crooked with these. I kind of went a little fast. A little fast and loose here with my butterfly. There we go. We're just gonna modify slightly. And just like that, we have our very first card. Isn't that beautiful? I love the soft pink going on with this card. Like, so gorgeous. All right, so that's card number 1. Just like that, we are done with card number 1. I'm just gonna check messages here real quick, make sure I'm still rolling good, everything's good. Hi, Kay. All the soft pastels are beautiful, aren't they? Oh, thanks for sharing. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. All right, so this is card number 1. Gorgeous, gorgeous, right? Now you guys are going to be blown away by card number 2 because it is the unpurplest card, and it's also kind of bright and fun, right? So we're bringing in Lemon Lolly. Now, Lemon Lolly is probably the farthest color from purple, I feel like. So Lemon Lolly is coming in next, and we have all kinds of stuff here as well, like lots. I really shove these things full. Somebody recently told me that my card kits are very generous, and I feel like that is correct because I like to add a lot of layers. I like to have a lot of fun. So you're going to get a lot of things. I'm like almost overwhelmed here. There's so much stuff. All right, so you're getting a really sweet piece of embossed Lemon Lolly. I'm going to just pop out one of everything here real quickly. Check out this fun paper. Now this paper right here, again, the soft pastel colors. This is from the Up in the Air. I think it's the Up in the Air, Lighter Than Air Designer Series paper, in case you're wondering where that came from. So let me go ahead and continue to separate out. Now this is what's so fun too about this card kits. You could invite a friend over and you could each create a card. I mean, there's one for 2 people, like, right? 2 of you could do the same card together. That would be a lot of fun because, you know, you're sharing the love, right? I always talk about sharing the love. And speaking of the love, check out this card. Do you love it? I think people that love yellow are going to love this card. This is so much fun, and it takes a little bit of a play from the lavender, but this is Orchid Oasis. So the colors that I'm using for this kit are Orchid Oasis, Lemon Lolly, and Gray Granite. These are beautiful colors, and I want to pause just for a second and say that Orchid Oasis is an in color that will be retiring at the end of April. So if you don't have Orchid Oasis yet, run. Get this while you can. Get your ink refills, get your blends, get your markers, get all your in colors that are retiring, because soon they're going to be gone, and they don't last usually as long as the sale period does. So you want to get them kind of ahead of time. So you're also getting some punch circles. This is the 2 3/8, and this is the 2-inch punch. We're going to be stamping on that. I'm just going to grab out what we're stamping on so we can do our stamping, and then we're going to be doing some die cutting. Now I want to point out that you have 2 pieces of gray granite in your kit, and you might be confused because something gets die kit but one's a layering piece. So what I want you to do when you find your kit is I want you to look at these pieces that layer and find the one that's going to fit perfectly across. This is 3 3/4 right here, so it's going to layer here. So as you can see, layers. Julie likes layers. An embossed layer, some cardstock, a stamped layer, another stamped layer. Okay, everything's on here. We got it. So this piece right here that's a little bit bigger, we're actually going to die cut that, and we're going to do that together. So I'm going to set these pieces aside because I don't need them just right now, and we're going to focus on stamping on what we have left. So let's do the Lemon Lolly first. This is such a happy color too. Soft yellow, so beautiful. It's gonna be great for all the Easter cards coming up. So I'm looking for a stamp that looks like, let me see, this one right here. This is the one I want. So it's kind of like almost like a foliage spray type of a stamp. So we're going to ink this up in our Lemon Lolly, and we're just going to stamp this right on here on this circle. This is going to come right up because it is photopolymer. Now it's really hard to see this tone on tone stamping, but it definitely adds a little bit here behind our die cut pieces. And once again, it doesn't matter if you stamp over top of something you've already stamped on. It's very forgiving this way. Like this is easy peasy coloring and stamping today. So I'm bringing in my sponge dauber. I'm going to add a little bit of ink just around the outside of the edge of the circle. And again, just kind of, it deepens it, gives it a little bit of another hue because it makes it just brighter, right? So when we layer these together, you can see how happy and pretty these are going to be. Beautifully done. Super happy with that. All right, let's do our little butterfly for a second because, as mentioned, we're playing with butterflies today from these fantastic butterflies. For this one, I chose this butterfly. I really like the sideways butterflies. I don't know about you, if you like the sideways or the full butterflies. They actually have 3 sideways butterflies here and then 2 kind of full butterfly, like front facing. I like the sideways ones myself. So I'm not sure which is your favorite. If you have these card kits, you could swap in any, I mean, you can swap in. I still have leftovers from my first go around. I didn't even use them all. So you could bring in a bigger butterfly if you wanted to. You could bring in a full butterfly if you wanted to. So you kind of get the idea, right? So at home, you get to choose your butterfly. I love that. All right, so we're going to kind of do the same thing we did with our purple butterfly. We're making sure that the butterfly is headed in the right direction, flying into the card the right way. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that yellow ink around the outside edges, but then I'm going to go a little bit further with this. I'm going to actually bring in, this is Stampin' Blend. This is the Dark Orchid Oasis, and I'm going to use the nib end here, and I'm going to actually color in, I'm going to bring in just a piece of scrap paper here. I know you can color right on the mat directly, but then you have to use alcohol to clean it off, and I prefer to just use a scrap. Sometimes the cleanup is not worth the hassle. Like when you have scraps everywhere, I say go for it, right? So I'm just bringing this in and I'm actually coloring in like the body area and the antenna. So this kind of goes right into the flowers here, but you can use markers and blends on your butterflies as well and color them up, right? Color your butterflies. This would be fun to kind of maybe even take lots of blends. You could make a rainbow butterfly. You could just keep going. You could do the whole rainbow across. It would be really sweet and cute too. All right, let me clean up my lemon lolly mess and move my dauber out of the way. And then we're going to do some more stamping. So on our stamping over for our stamping, I should say, over here, we have all kinds of good stuff left. We're going to bring Orchid Oasis back in. This color has grown on me quite a bit, and lately it's like probably one of my favorites. I always feel like that at the end of the in color rain, if you will, that I fall in love with them after like on year 2. I'm like, oh, these are the best colors in the world, and then they're gonna leave, and I'm like, oh, that makes me a little sad. Thank you for your friendship. Now my friendship didn't turn out completely as expected, and because we got 2-sided paper here, we're going to flip it over and give it another whirl. So let's try this one more time. Oh no, I rolled my stamp. That is so unprofessional of me. So I rolled my stamp rather than going straight down, and I prefer this side. My go-to fix right now at this point is to pull out my markers because you do want to have the markers on hand. And I'm actually just going to, we're going to fix that a little bit. Friendship. I feel like that might be a better option than this. I'm not happy with that part, but I rolled it. And this skinny stamp is really hard to fit on a block that is the right size. I wish that there was a skinnier, longer block that this would fit on better. But there you go. All right, so we're gonna just keep moving on here. We're gonna do some little stamping on this. Now we're gonna bring back in this beautiful stamp that I did earlier. We did this on our first card in the Fresh Freesia. It's kind of the grassy stamp. I said it kind of looks like grass. So we're going to just bring this across here, and we're going to just come across this piece right here, and we're basically just making our own designer series paper. And that is not well seen, but it is right here on our card. Again, it's going to get layered in really nicely. So that takes care of that. And what do we have left? Oh, we have some more. We have some more of this color. We're not done yet. So on this piece right here, we're going to stamp the big lavender spray. Now this is the traditional, to me, this is like the traditional looking lavender. So really pretty. Love that one. So we're going to stamp that, and then we're going to stamp on this little piece right here. We're stamping the stems. Now here's a trick. I did not, you may notice, I did not use green on this card. There's no green. There's no greens here. There's no green on the stems for my lavender, and that is on purpose. I did not want to mix green in. I felt like green would be too blaringly obvious that it was green, and I wasn't really sure which green I wanted to use, so I chose to go very neutral. And when you dry lavender, you sometimes get this kind of more woody look, right? More brownish look, this grayish brown. So I brought in that color instead, and I thought that it worked out really nicely. So don't always think traditional when you're working on your cards. You can think a little bit outside the box too. All right, let me bring in, we're gonna do some die cutting real quick. Bring in my machine here. We're gonna do a little die cutting. Get my plates unwound here. All right, so I've got base plate 1, the shim plate, 1 clear plate, which is very well loved and used. And then I've got these pieces that I'm going to be die cutting. So let me find my coordinating dies from this pile here that you cannot quite see on it's a little bit off camera over here. So we're basically going to find the cookie cutter shapes that match the stamping that we just did. So we're just choosing from all of the dies. We're going to line these up a little bit. This one a little bit reminds me of like winter wheat. I don't know why. Sometimes I see different things in these dies. And then the last die here, this gray granite, this is again just one of those bonus dies where it just gives you like an outlined shape. So we're going to go ahead and die cut these, send them on through. And if you noticed, I put the stamped images to go through my rollers first, and I left the detailed one at the end, because the detailed one, if this shifts as the other ones go through the machine, not a big deal. I've got some cardstock. This could have wiggled around and I'd still have room to get that die cut out of there. But however, these ones I really want to be, I want them to go through the rollers and have a better chance at them coming out properly. So that's why I put my stamped images in the front. I load them that way on purpose. I load them that way. So if you haven't tried that yet, that's definitely something you can check out. Okay, now I think we have everything we need to finish putting our card together. So I'm going to bring back in all of the pieces. Hopefully I didn't lose anything. There's a few things going on here on my desk. All right, I have to do it this way because this is just going to work better for me. All right, card to the left, work here to the right. This is how I do this. All right, so this part right here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some of our layers on here before we put them on the actual card base. So this pretty paper right here, we are putting the yellow side up. Now you have to decide again. Look at your embossed piece. Do you want embossed, debossed? What do you prefer? And then which way should this go, up or down, right? So you decide which is top, which is bottom. The designer series paper is going to come across here to the bottom. It's going to fit very nicely and snugly. Beautiful. Now we're going to bring in this layer of gray granite, and this just helps to keep that continuity of color. Now you have options. You can kind of snug this right up to the designer series paper. You can go over the designer series paper a little bit. Just kind of play with how high you want this to go up or down on your card base. The stripies help to give you a lining up point as well. Really love the stripies for that purpose. Okay, now we're going to add on this piece right here that we stamped, and again I'm going to leave a little bit of gray granite at the bottom so it's not like snug to the gray granite, but it gives us really great layering interest, right? We've got a higher spot here, a lower spot here, so that's a lot of fun. So we just loaded up this piece of paper. It's beautiful. We're going to flip it over. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back, and then we are going to pop this onto our card. I think I might go a little bit heavier with dimensionals here. Whoop. For this piece, because first of all, there's a lot going on here. This card stock right here is doing a little bit of a balancing act with lots of things on it, and also it's embossed, so it kind of wears the strength of the paper. So we definitely want to add a little bit more of the dimensionals on the back to help hold it up. So I always look to see which way my card opens so that I don't make an upside down backwards card. We're going to kind of center this a little bit here onto our card base. Now what's really nice about this as well, we have lemon lolly on lemon lolly. So if you can't quite center things well, by putting a layer of color on a layer of color, you can hide that little bit of an imperfection really quite easily. So if you have trouble with layers, I would suggest kind of keeping them neutral for a bit. And eventually, the more you do it, it's just like everything, right? The more you practice and do this, the better you get at it. I just glued our 2 circles together. I'm going to put them on the card right about here. So they're going to kind of bridge the distance here between our top layer and our bottom layer. And then we're going to put down all kinds of good stuff. So this piece right here is going to come onto the side. We are going to be adding on the, we'll call it lavender. It's really orchid, right? But it's die cut and stamped. Now, I like to put this has really detailed right here. I like to put this over top of the lavender, not underneath. Do you see the difference? By putting it over top, it's very interesting. It kind of comes up and it's expected, right? When you hide it underneath, this cutaway right here looks a little sad. It looks a little off, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just the tiniest little bit of glue right here on the back of the stems, if you will. And I'm going to just pop those stems right here onto the front side of my lavender piece. And I really like that. Way better. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of tear and tape. Tear and tape is one of my favorite tools in the world, and I am not going to add any adhesive to this. Now you could grab out a sponge and put a little bit on there. You could dab some glue on it and all that good stuff, but I'm going to actually just bring it down in here, and I'm going to put my tear and tape right about here, kind of toward the bottom. And if you look at this card, you're going to see that my sentiment is going to eventually end up right here. So it's going to cover where my tear and tape goes. So I love to hide the tear and tape somewhere behind a layer, right? So I'm going to go ahead and peel off this backing piece, right? So that it's still sticky behind it. And then we're going to glue this piece right down over top. So I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of glue in the center of it because I'm not really sure exactly where it's going to go on here. You can play with it at this point. You can kind of turn it to see which way it's going to look best. We maybe want, you know, to make sure that this is still showing this nice little piece right here. Okay, now we can bring in our little butterfly. So this is going to come up and in. So again, I'm going to just bring in a little bit of glue just wherever I can, not a ton. And I'm going to bring my scrap back in, and I'm going to kind of just wipe some of that glue off so it's not so gluey. And it's going to come here just like that. You don't need a lot of glue to hold things down. And this doesn't have to be glued down everywhere. You can see there's a lot of play right here behind it. So you don't have to, you know, don't have to hide and glue everything. Now this piece, the thank you for your friendship, I am going to bring in some dimensionals, and I think I'm going to see if I can find my minis. So I do keep both sizes. I get often asked, which size do I use more? I would say the big ones. I use the big ones more, but when you want the small ones, boy, oh boy, are they handy. So you can cut the big ones to be small, but it is really nice just to have them on hand so that you don't have to take that extra step for cutting, right? If you have them, you're just ready to rock and roll. Now you're going to see on this card, I did trim this. I did not trim this one. I'm going to keep this one straight. I could have gone over a little bit farther to the left when I stamped it, and I didn't. So I centered it more, as you can see. And so we're just going to put this here. Again, I'm going to hide that tear and tape that's right about there. And thank you for your friendship. It is not the most perfect stamping. I realize that. I probably, in all honesty, will pull this off later and restamp that. But for now, we're just moving onward, right? We're not going backwards. So there's our card, but it does need a little bit of bling, which I probably hid somewhere. Here it is. Okay, so we're going to bring in some bling. Again, just some little rhinestones is all that's needed. Sometimes the simplest bling, we're going to go this way. The simplest bling can just really jazz things up, and you don't have to go crazy with all of the colors and all of the, you know, all of this. You know what I just thought of as I'm doing this? I could have colored these with my blender pen. I should have colored these with my blender pen. Then I could have made my own blend, my own little jewels. Let's do some really quickly because I think I want to do that now. So I forgot about this until I'm actually just like right now at this point in my class. So I don't know if you knew this or not, but you can take your rhinestones, your basic rhinestones, any color, any color. Look at how pretty they are blue. Hopefully you can see them in the blue, right? So we're gonna just, we're switching this up. Sometimes during class, I like to switch things up. We're gonna back these back off because we're gonna put the blue ones on, and we're gonna see if we like the blue ones better. Oh my gosh, I wish I thought of that before I took all my pictures for this class. Now look at the difference. Oh my gosh, you guys. Tell me if you love the blue gems. Look at that. They perfectly match now. It's so pretty. There you go. I hope that if you didn't know this, I think your mind is going to be blown right now, but let me know which ones you like better. So that is it for this card. This card is finished. This is not the perfect friendship sentiment, but it is perfect for a good friend. Let's go with that. So I'll probably doctor that up a little bit. I love those blue gems so much. Oh my gosh. That was like totally in the middle of a mind thing here. Kay says she's not really a yellow person, but she likes this one. Lori also likes the sideways butterfly. Oh yeah, Lois likes the yellow and the blue. I'm just checking your comments real quick before I pop into the next card. So thank you guys, and I'm loving the blue gems. Okay, so that was card number two. We have one more card to go through tonight, and then our class will be over. So don't forget, the host code is in the description of this class. I will be emailing about it as well. If you're on my email list, I'll send you some reminders. I won't let you forget. And don't forget, you're going to get the paper butterflies this week as your embellishment gift. How cool is that? So we have one more card kit. We have one last card. This one is actually my favorite. I always save the best for last. At least I feel like it's the best for last. Look how pretty this is. Now this one is almost perfect for a wedding card. Maybe a bridal shower card. It's just really, really pretty. Soft and pretty. And a lot of the white, the fresh white, is on this card. So you're going to see, again, your card kit is pretty stuffed with some stuff. Like I stuffed the card kits with stuff. So I do have a thick white card base for you. I do like to use the thick white for my card base. So you're getting the extra sturdy card base. And I do extra sturdy because layers, right? I have lots of layers. This is the Softly Sophisticated Embossing folder. That is a Sale-A-Bration freebie with a $100 order. So if you bump your order up to 100, you get to pick this with a stamp set. And this is my favorite embossing folder right now. I am using it all the time, like absolutely all the time. All right, I am separating out parts and pieces. This is again from the Lighter Than Air designer series paper, and I'm also sending you some of the Scale Up Contours dies. So I want to show you that you can use these this lavender set. You don't maybe the perennial postage, maybe this is not quite your thing, right? Maybe this isn't your shape. So you can use any of your other nesting layering dies, and I really feel like these rounded edges look so pretty with flowers. So that's why I grabbed these ones, and you're getting them in your card kits. So if you don't have these dies, you're going to be able to use them for your card. All right, so let's talk about what's going to go where. Now we're going to be doing some die cutting. I'm not die cutting anything that works with the Painted Lavender Bundle, so you have to do that part yourself. So we have all of these things we're going to do on this. Okay, moving some things aside so we can get right into the stamping. Oh, and we have to pick out our butterfly. So for this card, I did use the tiniest butterfly, the littlest one. So, and I wanted it to be right in the center of the bouquet. So it's kind of almost like instead of a ribbon holding the flower bouquet together, we actually have a butterfly. So I used this little guy right here. And you're also going to notice I did not sponge him. I did not color this little butterfly in any way. Now you could, if you wanted to, absolutely. I kept it white. This card has a lot of white on it, and I wanted it to continue to be very white. So the only inks that I'm using for, actually I shouldn't say the only inks, there's actually quite a few. We've got Berry Burst, we've got the Soft Seafoam, I know that one's hard to see. We've got Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath. So we have a really sweet color palette here. And I repeated some of my inks for this class so that I wasn't saying you need 12 different kinds of inks, right? You can use, you can use minimal inks, right? So Berry Burst, we're gonna start with this one. We're going to bring it in our sentiment that says, "You mean the world to me." Now you could fit other sentiments from this stamp set into this base. Happy Mother's Day is going to fit. I can't thank you enough would fit. You're simply marvelous. Sending love and best wishes. This one's going to be a little bit smaller. You could certainly use it. And then there's some that are going to be too long. So there are choices, but we're going to use "You Mean the World to Me." I'm going to make sure I stamp this one this time farther over to the right because I want to be able to layer in my bouquet. So that one turned out really well. I did not rock my stamp at all when I stamped it. I didn't push my ink. I didn't push this into the ink pad and get ink along the outside edges of the red rubber, and I didn't rock it when I put it down. I put it straight up and down, and that is what I'm supposed to be showing you. And you know, every now and again, right? These things happen. All right, so on this piece of paper right here, you're actually going to be stamping the flower twice. Two-step stamping alert. And we're going to do the greens, and I need to find my chamois real quick and wipe my, we used this green in Old Olive previously. This time we're going to be using it in Soft Seafoam, so just a different color here. Now as you do this on this piece of paper right here, this video is great to watch again if you get the card kits and you're like, wait, what did she do? This is what we're doing. We're going to stamp our stem on one side because we're die cutting. We're going to be doing a little die cutting. And now we're going to set that aside. We're going to bring in our two-step stamping with these tall, spiky flowers. And I feel like these could be like columbine flowers too. Pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not a very good plant person, but I think the columbine is like a tall, stately, or maybe hollyhocks, I'm thinking. Definitely some different tall flowers, right? I know there's a lot of great flowers out there. So we're going to start with the fatter, wider one in the bubble bath. We're just going to stamp it here to the side on our paper next to our little stem. And then, now you could leave it just like that. This could be it. You don't have to add more, but you can. And that's the fun of it, right? So we're going to bring in the fresh freesia now. A little bit of purple. So this is the skinnier flower. So this one's a little bit skinnier. It's going to come right over top of and in the middle of the one that I just did. And then you get two-tone flowers, right? So you still have the purple kind of has the stems that kind of look like they're going upwards and fill in the middle of that flower. And it's just so lovely. Now my tip for you here, when you're getting ready to die cut these, is to cut them apart, right? So now you can put your dies around them individually. You're cutting them apart. It's just easier that way. You're actually going to cut two of these little like sprig-like, these little sprig-like ones. And then we're going to actually use this one twice as well. So we're going to be doing one in purple, which is the fresh freesia, and one in bubble bath. So we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. Now, another thing that I like to do, of course you don't have to, I like to send my cardstock through my die cutting machine one time and that's it. I don't want to do this, so I'm cutting it apart. I don't want to send it through twice because this side's going to get wrinkly and it's going to be wrinklier than the first one. So I'm actually going to cut my paper apart and do it that way. So let's bring in the die machine one more time. We're going to finish die cutting and then we're going to assemble. And this one is just so pretty. All right, so my sandwiches are still here, hopefully. Base plate, shim, clear plate. We're going to put in our stamped pieces first. Then we're going to kind of layer in our other dies, our bonus dies here to get these little sprigs and flowers and such. So I'm just going to look through my collection here, make sure I find the ones that fit the outside edges. Now this little green one right here, man, he's a skinny guy. This is a skinny dude right here. So we're going to try, I'm trying to line him up by looking at it sideways over here under the camera. Okay, I think I got it. And we're going to see if that works. I'm going to put that on there and we're going to shoot that right through. And we're not going to go too far with this machine because we do need to come back through. Oh my gosh, I could not have done this more perfectly. And I never know, right? Sometimes, you know, things get a little wonky coming through the machine, but I am very happy with that one. All right, we got to send these through one more time because I do want two of these berry burst sprigs. And I think the berry burst really gives this so much love. This card is just like so much more beautiful because of it. The pop of colors. There's a lot of white that goes on in this card, so the berry burst just really adds the much needed brightness. All right, so one more time we're going to go through. So there's not a lot of die cutting, right? Just a couple passes, you're good to go. Lots of the good stuff is already done for you. Now you do also get the card recipes when you order with me. So you can use these card recipes. It's going to have all of the dimensions, the directions, picture of the finished card. So you can use these forever and a day, right? You'll be able to continue to create this card if you want to just cut more paper. And you can swap out elements, you can swap out dies and all those other things. You don't have to do them exactly like I'm doing them. I want to show you that when we die cut this one right here, it's one die, but it cuts out two separate and two different flowers. Now, if you're a fan of making sure that all those little centers come out, you can, you know, I'm using the die, but you can definitely use a proper tool. Sometimes, you know, in the craft room, we just make do with whatever. So here's our little variety here of the gorgeous pieces that are going to go on our card. I just love this one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to set our bouquet aside. We're going to work on the bones of our card. So let's go ahead and glue down this white on white, really wedding-y, like fresh and clean. My glue is just about like ready to give up the ghost here. I feel like I have one on standby. And then I realized that I need to buy more because I don't have much more for standby. And I was a little surprised when I realized I was as low as I was, because normally I have lots of glue on hand. I love the glue. All right, so we're going to glue down this side of the paper as well. And this is going to fit right here in the scalloped contour die piece. Scalloped contour die piece. It's going to go kind of like side to side. So you can get that in there just like that. And you still have that cute little ruffle that goes all the way around. Now, I glued that flat down. I didn't lift up too much of this card, just so that it wouldn't be too much to pop into an envelope and get in the mail. So this is just going to come straight down here. Now, I know that the scallops, you know, it's white on white, so it's a little bit harder to see. Making sure, once again, we're opening in the right direction. That's cool. All right, so we're going to be popping up our sentiment, but before we get to that point, we got to start layering down some of these items. We got to glue together our little stamped flower, and once again the stem piece is going to go on top of the flowers rather than behind it. So the stem is going to come up to the top, and I'm going to just put a little bit of glue right there on the end. May have gotten a little heavy, so I'm going to just get rid of some of that, and we're going to come here and pop that right over top, just like so, and we'll let that sit there for a second. That's where our butterfly is going to hang out, but we're gonna work on the background here of our little bouquet. So I always feel like a florist when I'm arranging these beautiful flowers and sprigs and things. We're going to just kind of, and feel free, right? Just put them however you want them to go. You've got some purples, some pinks. You definitely want to make sure they're up high enough so that you see them. Create your little bouquet here, right? So look how pretty and happy. How happy and pretty all of these are on here, right? This looks like it could be a complete painted lavender, what are we calling this? Painted lavender. This is like painted lavender. So tear and tape's coming in once again. Once I like everything where it is, I am just popping that on there and holding them all in place. So they're not coming off right now. Yes, they're flying up a little bit, but this piece is going to come over. I always have layers to go on my layers to go on my layers, and it all works out. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, right? We're still working on this. So I'm going to take the tape off of the back, pop some dimensionals on here, and I just need to find where I put them. Here they are. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this piece, our little sentiment. I think I'm going to do 5. So I kind of went heavy on this, on the dimensionals here as well, and the big ones, liking the big ones here. For this, it covers a lot more surface. So this is going to come here. It's going to cover up my tear and tape here, so I've got to make sure I've covered it, and just decide how high or low you want it. I do like these little stems to stick out a little bit at the bottom. I think that's kind of cute. So they're going to kind of come across here just like so, and I've left room on purpose. As you can see, there's still room here to bring in this skinny, beautiful flower and our butterfly. So before I put this on here, I just want to make sure when I do put it on here that I put my flower and butterfly over far enough so that it's not going to interfere with the sentiment, right? So that's kind of important too. So putting this down, I just put a little bit of glue in the middle. Once again, just a little bit of glue is all it's going to take. I'm going to leave this quite a ways over because my little butterfly's got to come over here and not cover up my words just too much. So they really are kind of, you can't really tell front or back on these. Just a little bit of glue right in the middle of my butterfly. This is going to come right up here on the front of my bouquet, and that's going to need to set for just a second to make sure it stays. And then we're going to add in our bling. So the last thing we're going to add in is some more bling. And of course, I could at this point pull out like Berry Burst stamping blend, would make these nice and darky, like a darky purple, dark purpley color. But I'm going to go ahead and keep just doing the regular embellishment here for now. And maybe I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and come over this way. This is kind of busy right there right now. So your bling can go wherever you want it to go. It does not have to go in the same place every time. I do like to create a little bit of a triangle. It just kind of makes it seem more sense if you have your bling in a little triangle. The rule of 3 applies there, obviously, for the whole design part of that, but that is just such a pretty card. I absolutely adore that card. We're going to look at all the cards one more time. This is like a really fun card class, so I don't want you to miss out on this one. So these are the beautiful springy colors, right? And of course this little pop of the bright yellows. Oh my gosh, those blue embellishments, they just like are calling to me. So that is your card class for today, and I'm so glad that you could join me and check it out and maybe get some assembly tips as well. Michelle likes the colored gems. I do too. Thanks, Kay. Kay says they're gorgeous. Hi, Karen. Oh, Karen, I hope you feel better. I'm sorry. This is a very cheerful card class. So I think if you were to get one of these cards, that would help you to feel better too. So you guys are loving it. Thank you so much for all the love. Don't forget, this is your card class for the week. So if you're interested in this class, make sure you get your qualifying order in. You're going to get 6 card kits in the mail. You're going to have so much fun with this one. I know they're beautiful colors. And join me on Wednesday over on Positive Paper Crafters. One of these cards, believe it or not, will get a color swap. I know they're beautiful right now, but one of them is going to get a change up, and we're going to see who wore it better. And then I will be back on Thursday with something fun to share with you as well from this beautiful Painted Lavender stamp set and dies. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, I will read through your comments and check back in with you. You can also message me if you have any questions as well. Look for more from this bundle. I'm going to be featuring it with my Card Maker Collective Club this week. I will be featuring it and sharing information on my Card Maker Collective Club the February month. That's our kit. So if you want this bundle at catalog price, I offer that with the Card Maker Collective Club. So if you don't have this bundle yet and you're looking for it, the dies are currently on back order. They should be in at about the time that I'm going to ship out Card Maker Collective Club. So there's it. There, yeah. Hi, and bye, Sandra. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right, everybody. Until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, share the love. Bye.